Hello students, I am Pramod Sharma, faculty of Geography, and very warm welcome in the class of Maluka. Yes. Students, as you know, geography is one of the most important topics. And in geography, no doubt, atmosphere is one of the most important topic. As you know, एटमॉस्फेयर कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है, कभी आप लोग सोचिए। एक स्कॉलर ने बड़ी अच्छी बात कही है कि वी कैन लिव विदाउट फूड मैनी डेज, वी कैन लिव विदाउट वाटर फ्यू डेज, बट वी कांट लिव विदाउट एयर फ्यू मिनट्स। दिस स्टेटमेंट सिंपली इंडिकेटिंग द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ एटमॉस्फेयर, so that atmosphere is an important topic, and in atmosphere, no doubt, wind system one of the most important topic. One of the most important topic. And many time in your paper, many question has been asked, especially in your prelims examination. So let us concentrate over here about the wind system, what is wind and what their uses, यानी कि थोड़ा सा इसके देखते हैं डायमेंशन। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी शुड नो डेफिनेशन, what is wind, then their distribution, definition and types, yes, also, and distribution, and finally their impact. These are the three dimensions जो हमें आपको जानना चाहिए. You must be know that the first of all their definition and types. How many type of winds are there, and which type of winds are blowing in which area and why there, and distribution, and third what their impact. बिकॉज इम्पैक्ट आप जानेंगे तो और बहुत सारी चीजें रिलेटेड इट्स अनदर एस्पेक्ट इजीली यू विल हैव एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो लेट अस स्टार्ट द टॉपिक. व्हाट इज विंड? इन अ वेरी सिंपल मैनर, इफ यू आर गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड द विंड, देन सिंपली यू कैन से विंड इज ए स्लो एंड हॉरिजॉन्टल मूवमेंट ऑफ एयर. What is wind? Slow and horizontal movement of air. Slow and horizontal movement of air is known as wind. In a very simple manner, it means while air blows over Earth's surface or they are parallel, that is winds with slow speed. अब आप कैसे कहेंगे कि दिस इज ए स्लो स्पीड, या आप कैसे कहेंगे कि सर ये विंड चल रही है, मैं कैसे पहचानूं? यस, यू कैन इजीली आइडेंटिफाई. Like if you are moving in a park or on road or somewhere, if you are moving there, और आपके हेयर हिल रहे हैं, कपड़े हिल रहे हैं, बड़े अच्छा लग रहा है, you feel very pleasant, then simply you can say this is wind. And now you can say it has speed near about 20, 25 or 30 kilometer per hour. If speed near about 20, 25, 30 kilometer plus minus per hour, at that time you can say wind is blowing. And if speed more than 50 kilometer per hour, 60 kilometer per hour or more, और आप हिलने लग रहे हैं, अरे बाप रे भाई गड़बड़ हो रहा, चल नहीं पा रहे हैं, at that time you can say this is storm, आंधी. But if wind blowing with the speed of 100 kilometer, 200 kilometer or more, और आप ही उड़ रहे हैं, at that time simply you can say storm, not storm exactly, that is cyclone. Means if wind has speed less than 30 or plus minus 30, at that time you can say winds. If speed has more than, air has speed more than 50, 60 or more, at that time you can say storm. And if more than 100 kilometer, 20, 200, 300, at that time we can say cyclone. तो देखो स्पीड से हम लोग आसानी से समझ सकते हैं, एक्सपीरियंस कर सकते हैं. तो विंड इज ए स्लो एंड हॉरिजॉन्टल. हॉरिजॉन्टल मतलब पैरेलल टू अर्थ सरफेस. बिकॉज इफ एयर मूविंग वर्टिकली, at that time it known as convectional current. And if air moving horizontally in upper part of the atmosphere or above the earth's surface, at that time it known as a jet stream. And while it again moving downward vertically, you can say कॉन्वेक्शनल करंट. तो अलग अलग रीजन में अलग अलग करेक्टर जब होंगे तो इसके अलग अलग नाम होंगे. लाइक इफ मूविंग ओवर अर्थ सरफेस horizontally, that time is wind with slow speed. But if moving vertically, तो फिर convectional current. And if moving horizontally but in above part of the atmosphere, at that time you can say जेट स्ट्रीम. बट डाउनवर्ड, तो डाउनवर्ड मोमेंट है, एट दैट टाइम यू कैन से कॉन्वेक्शनल करंट डाउनवर्ड. नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट विंड्स. इसकी बात हो रही है. तो विंड हो गया कि विंड इज ए स्लो एंड हॉरिजॉन्टल मोमेंट ऑफ एयर. एंड नो डाउट बच्चों, विंड हैज ग्रेट सिग्निफिकेंस इन योर लाइफ. ग्रेट सिग्निफिकेंस, especially economically, especially climatologically, especially from the weather point of view, from the ecological environmental point of view. different aspect में इसका significance देखा जाता है. So easily you can see its significance in your Bollywood. आप बॉलीवुड का भी मूवी देखिए, आपको ऐसे बहुत सारे सॉन्ग्स मिलेंगे जहां पे थीम वर्ड विंड्स होगा, पवन होगी, हवा होगी. लाइक आप कह सकते हैं जैसे चले हवाएं सनन सनन, जैसे उड़े परिंदे गगन गगन. सुना है गाना आप लोगों ने? या सावन का महीना पवन करे शोर, जियरा रे झूमे ऐसे जैसे बनवा नाचे मोर. लॉट ऑफ सॉन्ग्स यू कैन लिसन. या इफ यू लिसन द पंजाबी सॉन्ग, ये जो सीली सीली ओंदी है हवा उत्ते कोई रोंदा होवेगा, ये गाना है ना. यस बिल्कुल, ऐसे बहुत सारे सॉन्ग्स मिलेंगे. ये सॉन्ग इंडिकेट करते हैं कि आपके माइंड सेट पर, आपके बिहेवियर पर, आपके थिंकिंग थॉट पर कितना इसका इन्फ्लुएंस. सो लेट अस कंसंट्रेट हियर एंड try to know what is wind and what their impact. Already I have defined what is wind. Slow and horizontal movement of air is wind. And no doubt different part of the world wind has different character. And it's also very interesting thing, not only different part of the world wind has different character, but in different time wind has also different character. जैसे think about this Gangetic plain. During summer season some different kind of wind blows. Like आप कहते हैं लू, है ना, very warm wind, dusty gusty winds. But in winter season cold wave चलती हैं, some another kind of winds. Same time in any part of the world different kind of wind blows and they have different kind of nature. So on the basis of their nature, on the basis of blowing of area, it can be divided in three parts. First is prevailing winds. First is prevailing winds or permanent wind or planetary winds. The first and the most important type of wind is planetary winds or permanent winds or planetary winds and prevailing winds. Yes, the first is prevailing winds, permanent wind and planetary winds. And if I'm asking what is prevailing winds, anybody can be define? Just think prevailing, what the mean prevailing? The literal meaning of prevailing is the phenomena, the things which continue. Prevailing is a special kind of things. एक वर्ड बोलते हैं, बोलते हिंदी में प्रचलित, मीन्स द थिंग विच वॉज प्रेजेंट एंड इट इज एंड इट विल हैव, आगे भी होगी, है ना, तो उसे कहा जाता है प्रिवेलिंग. इट मीन्स in the context of wind you can say prevailing winds are those wind which blowing continuously since origin of the earth and it will blow it will blow up to the presence of earth. यानी कि जब तक अर्थ रहेगी तब तक ये रहेंगी. जब से अर्थ पैदा हुई तब से चल रही है. यस, दे आर कंटिन्यूअसली ब्लोइंग, कंटिन्यूअसली, हमेशा चल रही हैं बच्चों. सो दे आर नोन एज ए प्रिवेलिंग विंड्स एंड दे फॉलो सर्टन डायरेक्शन एंड सर्टन पाथ, सो दे आर नोन एज ए परमानेंट विंड्स. याद रहेगा, दे फॉलो सर्टन पाथ एंड सर्टन डायरेक्शन, यानी कि इनका डायरेक्शन एकदम परमानेंट है. So they are known as a permanent winds, and these winds blowing all over the earth's surface as a planet, so they are known as a planetary winds. So definition is clear now. On the basis of their nature, again these winds are divided in three parts, and these bases are basically direction. On the basis of direction, these winds are divided in three parts, like easterlies or trade wind, westerlies, and third is polar winds. On the basis of their nature, permanent or prevailing winds may be divided in three parts, and the basis is direction, and these are like easterlies, westerlies, and third is polar winds. Then after, another type of wind is periodic winds. Periodic winds. Periodic winds are those winds which change direction with changing season, changing time. Means changing with the period, changing with the time, they blow in a certain period in a certain direction, but if temperature, pressure it changes, so they change also their direction. याद रहेगा, यानी कि टेम्परेचर प्रेशर में होने वाला थोड़ा भी चेंजेस जब भी होता है इनके नेचर चेंज हो जाते हैं. लाइक मॉनसून. मॉनसून इज ए स्पेशल काइंड ऑफ विंड्स विच चेंज देयर डायरेक्शन चेंजिंग विद द टाइम. तो डेफिनेशन इज क्लियर. पेरियोडिक विंड्स आर दोज विंड्स विच चेंज देयर डायरेक्शन चेंजिंग विद द टाइम और सीजन. Again, on the basis of their nature, these winds are divided in many parts, like you can say sea breeze, and land breeze. Sea breeze and land breeze. Then after monsoon, mainly there is two types. Mainly Then after, last is local winds. Local winds. Local winds are those winds which originate for a very short period. ध्यान रखना, these winds originate for the very short period in a very particular area, and their effects are very limited. They are known as a local winds. It means, simply again you define, local winds are those winds which originate for the very short period in a very limited area, and their effects are very limited. So these are the definition, and these three are winds. One is prevailing winds, second is periodic winds, and third is local winds. And again, on the basis of their nature, these winds are divided in two parts. One is warm wind and another is cold wind. This local winds is no doubt very, very important from the prelims point of view, but these two are very, very important from the mains point of view. Many times question has been asked from the monsoon, how to monsoon origin, related their theories, their impacts, their character. Lot of things already has been asked in your paper, and also these prevailing winds are very, very important. तो आओ चलते हैं, थोड़ा सा देखते हैं कि ये हैं क्या भाई. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम लोग देखते हैं प्रिवेलिंग विंड्स को. व्हाट इज प्रिवेलिंग विंड्स? What is prevailing winds? In a very simple manner, if you want to define prevailing winds, already I have told it, prevailing winds are those winds which originate all over the planet, and with a certain direction and certain path they blow continuously. Or in other words, these winds are blowing since the origin of earth, and it will continue blow in a future up to presence of earth. हमेशा ये चलती रहेंगे. Again, on the basis of nature, these winds may be divided in three part. आपने देखा इनको थ्री पार्ट में इनको डिवाइड करते हैं. फर्स्ट इज ईस्टर्लीज, सेकेंड इज वेस्टर्लीज, and third is polar. पोलर. इनके नेचर क्या है थोड़ा सा देखते हैं. एक डायग्राम बनाइए फटाफट आप लोग. एक सबसे पहले ग्लोब बनाइए. मैंने आप लोगों को प्रेशर बेल्ट पढ़ाया था, तो प्रेशर बेल्ट में मैंने बताया था आप लोगों को कि ओवर द अर्थ सरफेस in different region different kind of pressure conditions are found. somewhere high pressure, somewhere low pressure. यही ना कि कहीं पर प्रेशर ज्यादा है, कहीं पर प्रेशर कम है. and due to difference of pressure, to maintain the equilibrium in the pressure, air move from one place to another place. और जब एयर मूव कर जाती है तो उसे ही क्या बोलते हैं आप लोग? विंड्स. तो जरा देखो यहां पे कैसे भाई, ये डायग्राम बनाओ फटाफट, जल्दी से बनाइए. जीरो डिग्री to 5 degree south and 5 degree north. This is equatorial low pressure belt. याद रहेगा, this is equatorial. It This pressure found in the region of equator, so known as a equatorial, and in that area pressure is low, so known as a equatorial low pressure belt. The first, second, this is a subtropical high pressure belt. Already I have discussed their character. Subtropical high pressure belt. This belt situated between 30 to 35 degree north and 30 to 35 degree south. 30 to 35 degree south. Sorry. Then after, another belt is also found there. This belt is known as subpolar low pressure belt. Again, subpolar low pressure belt. This belt situated between 30 to 35 degree north and in between 60 to 65 degree south. And then finally, this is polar high pressure belt, and again this is polar high pressure belt. Simply through this diagram you can understand somewhere high pressure, somewhere low pressure. और जैसा कि आप लोग जानते हैं, over earth surface nature always try to make equilibrium in the pressure. So यहाँ आपसे देखो, winds always blows from high pressure to low pressure, from this high pressure to low pressure, from this high pressure to low pressure. तो over earth surface these kinds of area found, देखो ये गैप मिल रहे हैं, इन्हीं गैप्स में कुछ winds चलती हैं to maintain the pressure. ये देखो, ये देखो, this is the region of Stirlitz. Simply you can say Stirlitz winds blows between 5 to 30 degree north and south latitude. देखो, Easterly winds are blowing between 5 to 30 degree north and south latitude. But हो सकता है आपके माइंड में क्वेश्चन अभी आ रहे हो कि यस सर, यू आर सेइंग दिस इज ईस्टर्लीज, बट हमें तो कहीं से ईस्टर्लीज नहीं दिख रही है. Why? Because these winds are blowing north to south in northern hemisphere and south to north in southern hemisphere. And if these winds are blowing south to north in northern hemisphere, then why not we are saying northerlies? And if these are blowing from south to north, then southerlies. Yes, you are correct. But this is a beauty of nature. This is a beauty of earth. बच्चों जो होता है वो दिखता नहीं, और जो दिखता है वो होता नहीं। जो ये कंडीशन आप देख रहे हैं ये पॉसिबल है। दिस इज पॉसिबल इफ अर्थ इज स्टैटिक। If earth is static, at that time you can say northerlies and southerlies chalti, that possible if, but this is not true. What happening? Earth is rotating with the very high speed. Earth rotates with the very high speed, 1610 kilometer per hour. सोचो, और अर्थ के रोटेशन करने की वजह से एक फोर्स जनरेट होता है। दैट फोर्स इज नोन एज कोरियोलिस फोर्स। आर यू नो दैट? कोरियोलिस फोर्स और कोरियोलिस इफेक्ट। कोरियोलिस फोर्स और कोरियोलिस इफेक्ट, simply you can say, or simply you can define, due to rotation of the earth, the air deflect in their path. Due to rotation of the earth, the air which moving over the earth's surface, that deflect in their path. And what happened during the deflection? This wind deflected rightward in northern hemisphere and leftward in southern hemisphere. याद रहेगा, in the process of deflection it happened, air deflect rightward in northern hemisphere or leftward in southern hemisphere. No doubt this air is moving, so we can use word here winds, or in another word you can say, due to rotation of the earth, wind deflected in their path and it deflect rightward in northern hemisphere and leftward in southern hemisphere. Clear? This is the simple definition of Coriolis force. And if you are saying the earth is rotating and air is deflecting rightward in northern hemisphere, then what could happen here? ये देखो, it deflect rightward, राइटवर्ड, ये देखिए मुड़ गई, चल दी। इसीलिए विंड को क्या कहते हैं? गाना सुना होगा आप लोगों ने, आवारा हवा का झोंका हुआ निकला हूं पल दो पल के लिए। सुना है गाना आप लोगों ने? आवारा हवा का झोंका हूं। व्हाट द मीन आवारा हवा का? द मैन विच मूविंग बट एमलेसली। तो इंटरेस्टिंग बात देखो, this air is moving but due to rotation of the earth it deflect in their path. पीछे मुड़ गई, हट गई, पीछे रह गई। At that time just think what the direction, just think. Now you can say its direction, it blowing northeast in northern hemisphere, from northeast to southwest, and exactly what happening in southern hemisphere? ये देखो, from south east to northwest. No doubt they have angle. In northern hemisphere they are blowing from northeast to southwest, and in southern hemisphere southeast to northwest. But we feel, student just think, but we feel this wind coming from east side, so we named easterlies. जरा सोचो आप लोग, अर्ली मैन जो जंगल से निकल के ग्रास लैंड में घूम रहा है हेयर एंड देयर, एंड सेम टाइम विंड्स आर ब्लोइंग देयर। तो जरा आप लोग कभी ध्यान देना, खेत में जब रिपलिंग होती है, देखा होगा शायद खेत में रिपलिंग होते हुए, मतलब जब विंड चलती है तो जो क्रॉप्स होती हैं वे ऐसे हिलती हैं, लहराती हैं, तो उनका डायरेक्शन क्या दिखता है? ईस्ट टू वेस्ट। सब अब वो बेचारे सब देख रहे हैं सारे, जब से भाई ये लग रहा है इधर से चल रही है। सो दे नेम्ड स्टलीज, यानी कि स्टलीज किसने कहा? अर्ली मैन ने कहा। क्यों? क्योंकि उसकी ऑब्जर्वेंस थी कि यस दिस विंड इज कमिंग फ्रॉम ईस्ट साइड, सो दे नेम्ड एज ए स्टलीज। बट स्कॉलर लाइक यू, all of you are a well educated person, all of you know lot of things, so on the basis of direction you can say northeast wind, their direction is, क्या कह सकते हो? this wind blows from north east to south west in northern hemisphere and south east to north west in southern hemisphere. Clear? In another word you can say, तो डायरेक्शन हो गया जिस पे हम लोग इसका नाम देते हैं कि रियल में डायरेक्शन ये है, बट वी फील दिस विंड ब्लोइंग फ्रॉम ईस्ट टू वेस्ट, सो नेम्ड एज ए ईस्टर्लीज. Then another some characters are also very important. You can say this wind blowing from subtropical high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt. This wind blowing from subtropical high pressure belt to equatorial low pressure belt. कह सकते हैं देखो, and this wind is blowing from the subtropical region, so you can say this is a warm and dry winds. तो दूसरा करेक्टर क्या हो गया? स्टर्लीज इज ए ड्राई एंड वार्म विंड्स. बट आप कहेंगे सर स्टर्लीज से तो हमारे यहाँ बड़ी बारिश होती है, रेनफॉल होती है, हमारे यहाँ के लोग कहते हैं भाई स्टर्लीज से रेनफॉल ज़्यादा हो रही है, स्पेशली दोज हु आर फ्रॉम ईस्टर्न यूपी, बिहार, वेस्ट बंगाल, इन नदर्न इंडिया. यस यू आर करेक्ट. तो एक बात ध्यान रखना बच्चों, नो डाउट दिस इज ए वार्म एंड ड्राई विंड्स, बट व्हाइल इट ब्लोज ओवर द सी सरफेस it pick up huge amount of moisture. It's a very interesting thing. Stalage is a dry and warm winds, but it pick up huge moisture from the sea surface, and while it reach over the land surface, it started heavy rainfall in the east part of the continent. ध्यान रखना, it starts heavy rainfall in east part of the continent. खूब बारिश करती है झमाझम, but as it move in inner side, gradually it become dry. जैसे जैसे अंदर जाती है gradually it become dry, and so that in the region of Stalace, hot and dry deserts are found west part of the continent. Hot and dry deserts are found west part of the continent. ये बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बात है बच्चों. इस पर मेंस में क्वेश्चन भी आया है आपके कि why most of hot and dry deserts are extended in between 20 to 30 degree north latitude. क्वेश्चन आया, आप मेंस देखना आप लोग पेपर. No doubt many causes are there, but among that effect of Stalage or character of Stalage also important cause. आप बता सकते हैं कि Stalage is dry and warm wind, and while it pick up moisture, it did heavy rainfall in the region of east part of the continent, but inner side में जैसे जाती है dry हो जाती है, so that west part of the continent become deserts. Deserts of Sahara, है ना, या फिर मोजावे डेजर्ट इन अफ्रीका, मोजावे डेजर्ट इन यूएसए also situated in western side, Atacama desert also situated in western side of South America, Namibia, Kalahari Desert, also situated west side of Africa, southern side of Africa, and in Australia, western parts are dry. And in Asia, the West Asia region situated, west part of the Asia, which covered with vast area of deserts. एक बात ध्यान रखिएगा, ये करेक्ट, क्लियर। तो इस तरह से ये बातें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाती हैं स्टरलीज की, कि भाई स्टरलीज ब्लॉज between 5 to 30 degree north and south in both hemisphere, and it blows from this, ध्यान रखना, in northern hemisphere northeast to southwest, in southern hemisphere southeast to northwest. This wind blows from subtropical high pressure belt to equatorial low pressure belt in both hemisphere. Clear? And this is a dry and warm wind, but while it blows over sea surface, it pick up huge amount of moisture, no doubt. So this winds responsible for the heavy rainfall in the east part of the continent, but while it move in inner side, gradually it become dry. So hot and dry deserts are found east part of the continent. So that all these characters are very important. Remaining part of this topic I will discuss in another class. And students, फिर हम लोग मिलते हैं and we will discuss about westerlies and polar winds. Equally, these two are important. Until then, bye.